This video explains how to add a fitted line within a certain range to a plot using the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. In this video I will show you several examples, and for all of these examples we need to create an example data frame, as you can see in lines 2 to 5 of the code. So after running these lines of code, a new data set is appearing at the top right, which is called data. And we can click on this data set to open a new window which shows the structure of our data frame. And as you can see, our data frame contains two columns called X and Y, and both of these columns contain random numeric values. Now, if we want to draw our data in a plot, we can use the plot function of base R. So after running lines 7 and 8 of the code, our plot is created at the bottom right. And as you can see, this plot shows our data in a scatter plot. Now, if we want to add a fitted line to this plot, we can use the abline function, as you can see in lines 9 to 11 of the code. And within the abline function, we need to use the lm function to estimate a linear regression model based on our columns y and x and our data frame. In this case, I'm also specifying that the color of our fitted line should be equal to red and the line width should be 3. So after running lines 9 to 11 of the code, a fitted line is added on top of our plot. But as you can see, this fitted line is representing the entire plot, and it is shown from the left side to the right side of the plot. Now let's assume that we want to draw this line only in a certain range. Then we can apply the code that you can see in lines 13 to 21 of the code. So in lines 13 and 14 of the code, I'm once again using the plot function to draw our scatter plot. And then I'm using the clip function to tell the abline function that I'm using afterwards that it should be shown only in a certain range. So in this case, I'm specifying the range 0 to 1.7 on the x-axis and very large values for the y-axis. So after running lines 15 to 18 of the code, our settings are updated, and now we can once again draw our AB line as we did before. However, this time the AB line is only shown in the range that we have specified before. So in this case, in the range between 0 and 1.7 on the x-axis. So in this first example, I have explained how to use base R to draw a fitted line within a certain range. However, it's also possible to use the ggplot2 package for this task, as I will show you in the second example of this tutorial, starting in line 23 of the code. And as a first step, we need to install and load the ggplot2 package, as you can see in lines 23 and 24. I have installed this package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it with line 24 of the code. And then in the next step, in lines 26 to 31 of the code, we can draw a ggplot2 plot with a fitted regression line. So after running these lines of code, a new plot object is appearing at the top right, which is called ggp. And we can draw this plot to the bottom right of RStudio by running line 32 of the code. And then you can see that we have created a new ggplot2 scatter plot with a fitted line that is shown in the entire plot. So if we want to draw this fitted line only in a certain range, as we already did in example 1, then we have to use the ggplot build function, as you can see in line 34 of the code. And within this function, we need to specify the plot object ggp that we have created before. And then we need to apply the $operator to extract certain data components from the output of the ggplot build function. In this case, I'm also storing this output in a new data object called ggp_info. So after running this line of code, a new data object called ggp_info is appearing at the top right. And as you can see by using the head function in line 35 of the code, our data object contains the axis positions of our line on the x and on the y-axis. So let's assume that we want to use only those values that are in a certain range on the x-axis. Then we can subset our data object, as you can see in lines 37 and 38 of the code. And in this case, I'm specifying that I want to subset our data based on the logical conditions that the x-axis should be greater or equal to 0, and it should be smaller or equal to 1.7. So after running lines 37 and 38 of the code, a new data object called ggp_info_range is created, and we can use the head function once again to see the structure of this data set. And as you can see in this case, only data greater than 0 and smaller or equal to 1.7 is contained in the data set. In the next step, in lines 41 to 45 of the code, we can use our updated range data set to draw our fitted line to our plot. So first I'm creating a ggplot2 scatter plot, and then I'm adding to this the gonline function, and within this function I'm specifying our new data set, and I'm specifying the color and the size of our fitted line. So if you run lines 41 to 45 of the code, you can see at the bottom right that our plot is updated, and this time the plot is shown with a fitted line in a certain range. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video so you can find it there. If you have liked this video or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel, and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.